Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Yeah, it's about midnight and I just thought I better get up and do something, so haven't been on in a long time and I just wanted to update what's going on around here a little bit. I haven't done a lot of work lately in the shop because I've been busy at work and changing jobs and I've been trying to get a job really hard to get out of the automotive business as best I can. I'm just really burned out on it, and it's not really the work, it's just the way things work these days, where it's just so hard to be very profitable in the business. So anyway, been pretty stressful. I've been at the, as you know, some of you know, I've been at the dealership, at a Ford dealership for over 21 years, and that is over with. Thank God it is over with. I'm starting a new job in Monday, which is about a day from now. It's about midnight, Saturday night, so I guess it's actually Sunday, isn't it? Anyway, I've been, my mind's been on other things. Haven't been able to concentrate good on the shop here, other than playing with my guns. I've been started trying to make some video on some of the things. It's getting close to deer season, so I've got a new gun to play with. Got a 260 Remington I'm going to try to get rigged up for my son to go shoot this year. So doing a lot more things this year with reloading than I've ever done in the past, or trying to spend a little more time with this and get my mind off of some of the mechanical other things that I usually do. But I did do some machine work to do with this, and I started recording some stuff a few weeks ago, and I just haven't had a chance to put anything together. We may get back to that. If you have any interest in any of the reloading or the things that I've been doing, if you want to know more about any of this, I've been studying it a lot myself. I've been reloading hunting rounds and things for probably 25 years or so, but not anything real high tech. I just usually load what we need for hunting and a little shooting, and we don't get too involved in the stuff that the bench rest shooters do. But I have now been doing a little more of that, trying to learn a little more about it, watching lots of videos on gun stuff and my regular machinist stuff that I've been watching. I've been keeping up with you, Scott, if you're watching this. Been watching you. I hope you're doing better with your health problems and just your general welfare, because I'm going through a lot of the low depression and things here myself, and I understand a little bit about that. I've been really fighting emotionally for a long time with this job I had, and I'm finally free of that. And so let's be happy and move on to the next chapter. You know, hopefully the next 20 years I'll be getting into something a little different. The job I'm going to is with the school district locally here. I'll be working at the bus barn and doing some maintenance on buses and a little bit of building or different things around the school. He said occasionally we'll get loose from the shop and we'll go do a few things around the place just to get out and do something. I don't mind it at all. I'm looking forward to it. And of course I'm still doing jobs here in my shop, all types of mechanic jobs and maybe some welding jobs and machine jobs and whatever. That still goes on here. Anyway, I wanted to show you a few things here. If you anybody knows anything about this stuff that to do with the reloading or the gun, I'm a gun nut, always have been. I've got lots of guns, but I never have enough guns. And I like to follow along online and talk to people about guns, and everybody has their own opinion about guns. I'm pretty opinionated on what I like, but that's not to say you can't like what you like. And I like to aggravate people a lot here locally. You know, you got these guys that like the old school guns, like the 30-30s and 270 Winchesters and 308s and some of the old stuff that's, it has its purpose. It's not my thing. I like performers, you know. That's why I was telling somebody yesterday, he was talking about, well, 30-30's killed lots of deer. Well, yeah, it has. So does 22 long rifle and 22 Hornet. Doesn't make it a good gun, but you know, you ought to do however you want to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm telling you what I like, and I've studied ballistics and through reloading for years. Probably, oh, I don't know, since the early 90s at least. And I know how they compare. A 30-30 is a joke, and we won't even worry about that. It came out in 1895, and it was big time round in its day because, you know, as far as lever action guns go, I don't know what they had really. They had 45-70 probably, and you know, some old slugs like that were, the 30-30 was a more modern round, but you know, it has its limitations, and I don't want one, and that's not what this video is about. I'm just talking about how I get wound up. I'm talking about performers, you know. I like to have lots of guns that are good performers in their own class or in the job that they've got to do. So, you know, I have a 30-06, which is, there's better rounds, but it is a good performer. Surprisingly enough, that one came out, I think, in Springfield in 1903, but gunpowders and things have progressed a whole lot over the years, and it's a lot better gun than it was then. I don't shoot that gun a lot anymore, but that's a good performer. The 243 is an excellent performer. I have one of those. I have a 22-250. It's an excellent performer in the 22 caliber range, which I don't believe in using for deer hunting, personally. It will get the job done, but it's not the best thing to use. It's more of a varmint gun. It's a fun gun to shoot. I have the new 260 Remington I just got. Now that gun, if you don't know what it is, it's based on the 243 and the 308 case, same size case. It's just a 6.5 millimeter caliber, and same with the 7mm 08. So you got the 308. Here's where my opinions work out. 308's not a terrible round. It's just a big 30 caliber bullet in a small case. To me, it's a little too much bullet for a small case to be a good performer. It is, so you got a 6.5mm at about 120 to 140 grain bullet versus 308s that people put 165 or 180 grain bullet in it. And what I feel like that is like is if you had a Ford F-350 1-ton pickup, you know, that's made for carrying heavy loads, except that if you had it in a with a 4-cylinder engine in it, you know, you got this big truck, but it doesn't have power to really pull much. That's kind of like the 308 case. It's a little bitty case, and you're trying to push a big heavy bullet with it. That doesn't make it a real good performer. That's not to say it's not a decent round, and you can still put a 125 grain, or I think you can go down to 100. You can go down to 100 grain bullet in that. I know you can go down to 110 grain. But anyway, let's don't debate that. That's all opinion right there. Other than the performing part of it, it does not perform like the 243 or the. Alrighty, folks. Sorry about that. It's been so long since I've used this camera that my card was full. I don't know how much room's on this one. I just went and stole the card out of the drum. I think it's pretty empty. Anyway, we'll get on with this. I'm just talking tonight for a little bit, and talking about how I've been stressed out lately and I just haven't been doing a lot in the shop, just over my job. It's pretty scary when you've been with a job 21 years and you decide you're going to walk out on it and finally get a different job to go to. So I would have walked out a long time ago if I could have just found a different job to do. So anyway, I was talking about those different calibers. You know, if anybody likes to talk about guns, I love to talk about guns. Get it in the comments and we'll talk it up if you want. I seem a little opinionated, but I'm just telling you, I only have my opinion based on, you know, performance ballistic things and stuff in reload manuals, and I'll show you some in a minute. I've got lots of books and I can look up things for you if you want, if you don't have any, or if you have any questions. I'm always looking for more information. I don't know everything. But, so as I was talking about, I got a 243 25-06, which is an excellent performer. 30-06 is decent. I probably forget I got so many guns in there, but I don't have any sluggish, junky crap like 30-30 and just crap. If it's not a good performer, I don't even like it. I got lots of shotguns, 12 gauges, 20 gauges, and I got 2 AR-15s. One of them I kind of built, 5.56, or 223, whatever you want to call those. I got 2 of those. I have a couple pistols, 9mm pistols. You know, pistols are pistols. You know, they're not excellent performers. They have you could debate that if you want, I guess. I don't know a lot about pistols, honestly. I don't shoot them a lot. 9mm is a decent round, you know. So anyway, I'll show you this gun and a few things I've been doing. I've been building some cartridge stuff on the, and some tooling, a little bit of tooling on the lathe. I hadn't got it all done yet. I'm just tinkering with it lately. You can buy that stuff from Hornady and some different companies, but it's more fun to build it yourself, and you can customize it to different sizes and things that you really want. That's to me fits a little tighter, whether you got a resized case or if it's just fired. You can make some tools to fit in there and do some tests. I'll show you a few tools, and I'll show you this or a few things here with these guns I've been messing with. And I'll try not to go too long. This is just an update on what I've been doing. And I just got my toolbox home. If you notice, I got my other toolbox here now. And if you can see this, I got a chrome grab now that I've never had. I don't know if you can see that very well. Yeah, right over here. That's where when you shoot through here, a bullet through here, and it'll measure the speed. If you watch Amateur Redneck Workshop, you know Harold does this a lot. So if you reload and you want to compare them to the book, see if your loads are coming in about the right velocity, that gives you an idea if you're loading hot enough or not hot enough. And, without looking at a lot of pressure problems, you want to look for pressure problems on your cases, but looking at that speed and how accurate you can repeat the speed, you want to repeat those velocities with your loads as closely as possible, because you know if you're shooting a target at 100 meters or 200 meters or yards, whatever you want to call it, at the range they have it in meters, you know, but if the bullet's going slower, it's probably going to be lower. If it's going faster, it may be higher, you know, on your target. So you want all of your loads to be just as perfectly tuned as possible for good, accurate shots. That way, you're as close to target as possible. That's just one thing. Velocity is just one thing that affects that. Here's my toolbox I've had for a long time at work. I'm so glad to have it here at home. I've had this for about 20 years. Bought it from Snap-on brand new, and I've been cleaning on it. It's really dusty and dirty, but that was a pretty big job. This weighs probably close to 2,000 pounds, you know, loaded with tools. And I was fortunate to have good friends to help me get that here. And a good friend that had a trailer that had a rollback trailer that was able to just roll it on with a winch real easy. And anyway, you can see my mind is off of mechanical stuff, and so I've been putting a lot of my reloading stuff up in here. and kind of got away. You know, you can still see some of my stupid certification. You know, that's how many years I was a senior master certified technician with Ford Motor Company for many years, and you know, it just doesn't pay off. So we won't harp on that. I get to thinking about that too much. It's really depressing, but there's just a few of my reloading books, and I've got targets ready to go to the range tomorrow. I've already been loading. I looked online and I found you know, I had just scratched down a lot of notes in a little spiral, and then I come back and I put all my loads on this piece of paper. That way when I get out here and I'm going to record all my velocities as I shoot them, and then I can come back and study this, and I'm going to try to take these targets, and I marked on these targets, you know, which load I'm going to shoot at that one and that one and so on and so on, and then I'll probably cut these off, put them with my notes, and come back and kind of study and see how they were grouping, if I'm satisfied with how good a group I was getting, and I'm not going to be too picky. This is for hunting. I'm not bench rest shooting with this rifle right now. This gun, this 260 Remington, I didn't get around to telling you. The 6.5 Creedmoor is a big time thing going on right now. It's a fad that everybody's going out buying these 6.5 Creedmoors, which is almost an exact duplicate cartridge of this 260 Remington that's been around for 20 years or so. And the Creedmoor's been around for, I don't know, 10 years or so anyway, probably, but I'm hard-headed, and you know, the fact that it's called a 6.5 Creedmoor being metric is a little aggravating to me. I like the 260, you know, it stands for 260 thousandths, even though it really shoots a 264 thousandths bullet, but anyway, kind of like the 270, you know, shoots a 277. But anyway, that's what I've been working with lately, and on the lathe I've been building some things, but I don't have anything rigged up in here right now. It's just halfway cleaning up in here. But I'm sure I'm going off screen. I get goofy like it. This Hodgson 4350 powder is really hard to find right now. If anybody knows much about reloading, you know that's one that everybody really says is good, stable powder over different temperature ranges. And it's just one of them that I've tried. I've got IMR 4350, Reloader 19, and some others that I've tried also. Like I said, I haven't finished the test on all this. I feel like they'll all shoot decent. We'll see how they group. If they group decent, I'm just going to load up a box of them and have them ready to roll for hunting and a few different. I got some 123 grain. 130 grain Accubon Nosler bullets is the ones I really think we're going to hunt with. And then I've got some 100 grain Nosler ballistic tips that will also be just fine for hunting. And I'll probably step up to some 140s and try them. They'll be excellent hunting around at short, you know, under 200 yards, but which is all we hunt anyway. But just playing with this stuff. Here's a lot of my reloading stuff dies that I've had over the years, and some of the tools I've built lately is this ogive measurement. They call it the ogive if you're not used to that. I can show you real quick how you measure that, but basically, I don't know, I don't need to get this involved in showing you this because everybody either knows it or they don't, but when you measure that, you're measuring basically the part of the bullet that touches in the barrel. So if that stopped in the barrel, that would be, or when that shoots, the part that touches the barrel first is kind of where you're measuring that. So, you know, I made these where you can take these in and out, and there's different tools you can put in here, but I just made that on the lathe in the mill, slotted that on the mill. And then you just put this in your caliper and you measure this, and what you want to do, I'm getting a little too long here, I know, try to be quick. These are all the bullets that I fixed the test that I was telling you about that I've been loading up here. The 260 Remington. That's the Accubon. These are the 123 grain hollow point Sierra Match Kings, and these are the 100 grain ballistic tips. Now, I know you can't see that well on this camera, but I'm just showing you. These are basically 5 round groups that I've got set up to go do some tests on those. Now, the way you measure your gun, what I was telling you, I built some things on the lathe. You can buy these, and I have bought some, but I don't know which one of these is the 260 because I ain't got no glasses with me, but it looks like that's probably it. I can show you, here's the bullets that I've been loading, these active bond. I know I'm a good way from the camera here, but if you take your bullet, yeah, that's the one that goes in there. If you'll notice, I took this on the lathe and I've got a tap that's a 5/16 36. See the hole it's threaded in there to fit this Hornady tool here. See? So you thread your empty cartridge, preferably one that you've already shot in your gun so it fits your chamber. It's not that critical, but it is. Any little bit of accuracy you can pick up, I'll take it. But you'll see that just threads on this tool right here. Then you take this, see how that moves in and out? Right there. So you take this, you put your bullet in here that you're going to load, which the size you're going to measure. You know, the different grain bullets may measure different on that ogive. So you put that in there and you just kind of, now you pull the bolt out, you stick that into your chamber. See, and then you push this in, see where you put the bullet out until it just, you bottom your case out in your chamber. Then you push this is nothing new. I know that some of you are probably bored listening to this. You can get this online on a bunch of different YouTube videos, but when that stops in the throat of your barrel right there, it'll stop. Then you lock this down, pull all this out. If your bullet hangs up in your gun, you need to knock it out, fine. Just stick it back in there because you've already locked that down, okay? Then you just take your calipers, you know, like this. At that point, see, oh well, remember I built the tool. That's what I built the tool for. Right here. Now, you see there's a little slot here. You can stick this in and you measure your ogive length right there. Now do that 2 or 3 times in your gun and see if you come up with that same number every time. That's just a comparator. They call it a comparator. So now you know, because you stuck that as deep as it'd go in the gun, that's the very longest cartridge length, seating depth that you could possibly have in that gun. So you want to start loading those with about 10, 20 thousandths away from your barrel lands or the throat of your barrel. And play with that length, you know, I've been told from 10, 20, 30 thousandths differences, and see if it makes any difference on your accuracy of your gun. I'm not going to play with it too terribly much if I get some decent. I've been loading some about 10 off and 20 thousandths off, you know, and maybe some of them 30 and 40 thousandths off. If I'm getting good groups, I'm not going to play with that too much for hunting. You know, deer hunting in 120, 30 yards is all we're going to hunt. That's all that we have shots of. So if I'm within that range right now, that's all I'm going to do. Now, if I get to doing some, you know, playing around with doing some real accurate shooting with this gun, we may do that. So that's just some of the things there that I was going to show you that I've been playing with. I also bought this little tool here that I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's going to be hard for me to show it to you. You know, you have to look down on it, but I can show you real quick kind of what you do with this if you haven't ever seen this. It's just a dial indicator. What you do is you put your bullet, one of the uses for this anyway, you put your bullet in here, this is spring loaded, and you see your dial indicator here. You turn this bullet and see how much run out you have with your bullet here. And see, I've already done these. They're all within, you want them within 2 to 3 thousandths. Within 2 thousandths is what I've been told. And these are all within about 1, I think, or less. But if it's not, you can turn this and it just kind of tweaks that bullet. You know, you find your low and then you tweak it until you get the run out just right on all your bullets. And that should help your accuracy quite a bit. That's just a new tool. And I've been machining some different tools for this that will also measure the neck thickness on your empty cases, and you can actually turn these necks a little bit to make the thickness of the neck more uniform. So those are some things I've been playing with lately. Wasting time, you might say, instead of doing jobs in the shop here that I need to be doing. What else have I got here? I've got my reloading press set up on my mill bench right now, and I've got a powder measure over here on my, this place is kind of a mess right now. I'll show you around a little bit here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, I'll move this over here now, but there's my reloading press right here right now. I don't have the die in it right now, but you can see there's my press. It's over here by this mess. They worked fine, and then I've got my powder measure right there on that. This crap came from work, you know, some of this, so it's a mess right now. Here's some of the tooling that I've been building. I told you for that deal, this one didn't quite work. I forgot, I think I made this hole a little bit deep or something. Some of these that slide in, this is the trimmer for your neck trimming, and I was just trying to make these, see, this one won't fit. I can't do that with one hand, but this is supposed to fit in there and goes in this thing. So I was building one that fitted a little bit better. For instance, I built them on the lathe, and I've got a piece of stainless. When I get these aluminum prototypes built the way I want them, I'm gonna build some out of stainless. I think that'll probably be a little longer lasting. And I bought this trimmer that goes on my, I've got a lot of other reloading stuff in my deal there. Let's see if, I think we've looked. I don't remember if you've ever seen this, Scott, you and your Snap-on. You know how much you love Snap-on. I don't know if you've ever seen any of this. This is my good stuff from work I've had for years. You know, I've got a pretty good selection of mostly Snap-on sockets. Some still Craftsman. I haven't broke that one yet. It's still a Craftsman. Generally when I break one, I just replace it with a Snap-on over the years, and we don't have a Craftsman store nearby, as I've told you in the past. So there's still a few, but we don't use standard sizes very often anymore, so it's mostly all metric. And so that's why most of these are all Snap-on stuff. Ingersoll Rand impacts, I like those better. That's a Matco, but it's still made by Ingersoll. Snap-on air ratchet, excellent. That's Ingersoll Rand, that little one. You'll see there's quite a few Snap-on ratchets in here. Really fine tooth ratchets. These are 80 tooth ratchets here. Makes a lot of difference having them fine teeth. Now that's kind of my socket drawer. We're not going to do too much of this. There's pliers and there's a mixture of all kinds of tools in here. There's Matco, Snap-on. That's a Snap-on. When you only have Snap-on or Matco coming by the shop, that's what you end up buying. I got a wrench or two laying around the shop here, but these are mostly Snap-on wrenches in here. Some Matco ratchet wrenches here, but full sets of Snap-on and some extras over here that are, need a longer one or what have you. This is just what I've been using for years. Up there's a lot of stuff. That's for taking fan clutches off. That's your main. I try to put the things I use mostly up top, and of course I have other drawers, but those are the most. That's wiring stuff. I use out of that quite a bit. This is more of a junk drawer. Tons and tons of just screws and retainers, and some more wiring. I don't get in these drawers a whole lot. There's some, Snap-on pullers. There's some cans. I always save cans, so I had cans I'd picked up. More junk, special tool type things, but big boxes of things in there, and this is definitely going to be some torque wrenches and just, you know, stuff. That's a tap and die set that's not very good. It's a Matco set. It's just regular thread chasing type stuff, you know, mechanic tool type thing. And I don't know how we got off on the tools, you know. I'm getting back in the automotive junk. There's snap-on snap ring pliers, and that's belt tensioner tools, you know, fuel filter. I don't know where my other set of them things is. Anyway, this is a pretty good sized toolbox. This toolbox is 72.5 inches long. There's some drills and air tools in here. The thing about these big toolboxes like this that you ain't gonna get from cheaper line of junk is these drawers are 29.5 inches deep, and that's almost unheard of from somewhere like Craftsman or some of your cheaper toolboxes. These are excellent toolboxes. There's my Brown and Sharp calipers and Metatoya micrometer there that I've used. Some more junk drawer, paperwork, pens, you know, in this drawer. This other one is mainly paperwork and stuff in this top drawer. There's your oil capacities. That's the key to this toolbox. Anyway, I've had this box since '97, I think it was, when I bought this. And believe it or not, you know, this toolbox today would probably run you, they don't make this exact box, but it would probably be a $10,000 box or thereabouts. And in the day I bought this, it was $4,000. Not counting this wood block was 500 more, and that was nearly 1,000 more. So you might say, you know, over $5,000 is what I actually spent on it. But anyway, I've always liked this, how big this drawer is. You know, you can fit so much in here, so wide and so deep that pretty much all of my sockets are in here, and ratchets, and even my impact and air ratchets. So that's nice to have it all right there. That's my most common drawer to open right there. So anyway, without rambling on and on forever, because this is going to be just an update video. That's my chronograph I was showing you. You know, that little screen just lights up with your speed when you're shooting in bullets. The way I was doing those cartridges, I was showing you those threaded cartridges. I was just chucking them in the 5C collet chuck, and I'm drilling them with an L, and I was hand tapping them with my, you know, I had the spring-loaded tap guide in here. And then I had a hand tap in there, basically hand tapping them, and then running the lathe a little bit to get it back out, in and out a few times after I got it working there. Oh, I'm glad to have my fan here. This is a nice Portacool fan. This thing puts out nice cool air. I've got a swamp cooler in the window over there. It don't do worth a flip. This thing puts out nice cool air, and I'm glad to have that home. I've got a pile of parts. Hope this ain't ridiculous shaking you around here, but all this junk sitting around here, and just some coolant and things, tons of cans, and all these boxes here came from things I accumulated at work, some spare parts, some new parts, but mostly good used parts or just stuff, you know, silicone, tubes of silicone, maybe a few oil filters, air filters, you name it. There's just stuff I got to go through and see. I got to see what I got here and find a place for it. That's just things I've used at work for a long time, you know, bolt bends, and there's just quite a bit here that I've got to go through. This was a cart I had at work, you know, and I've got a whole bunch of brake clean that I got lately that I need to put something. That cart I used at work for a long time. It mostly sat still, and I used it to put certain things in. this thing, it needs to be cleaned up. I saved a lot of bolts up from work. That's what a lot of this is here. I need to go through this and organize all these bolts. This is a little man I got as an award for being a senior master technician. Ford Motor Company gave us these, and it's dirty. I need to put it somewhere. Probably ought to put it in a dumpster so I won't be reminded of the terrible job I had all them years, but I guess paid the bills and raised my kids with that job. This is that deal I'd been trying to weld on around here for a while, and I haven't mastered that. So anyway, I got a little bit of work in progress here. I need to finish putting this chainsaw together. It's putting new lines and things on it. There's my snap-on creeper that's home. In a future video, I may rebuild that drill press right there my dad come up with it. Something's wrong with it. I forget now what it is. I think you can't adjust the belt or something. So anyway, I'm just out here monkeying around in the middle of the night basically. I may try to get this. Oh, I didn't show you the gun. That's what I said. I was going to show you this gun here. This is the gun I just got. It's a Ruger M77. It's a Remington 260 caliber, but and it's got this new brand of Hawk I never had seen with their reasonable scopes. That's a 6 to 24 power scope, 50 millimeter objective lens with the parallax adjustment on there. And it also has, you know what, I've seen people show down in a scope, I don't know if you can see that, but it actually has a lighted optic in it. I don't know if you can see that. It'll do green or red. You see the green crosshair thing in there or whatever? You can turn that. You can have it either on black or whatever. So anyway, that's my new gun there that I just got, and I got another gun in mind I want to get if I can. It's a Ruger. It's going to be a Ruger precision rifle, they call it. I think they call them RPR, Ruger precision rifle. Anyway, that's what I've had my mind on lately, reloading bullets for this gun and doing some tests on it. So anyway, I'll turn you back around here now that I've got my toolbox a mess already. Just an update on what's going on here lately. I'm kind of looking forward to the next week on my new job and see how it goes. And one thing about that job, I've been getting off at 6 or 6:30 for forever. This last job, I think we get off at 3:30 or 4 at the new job, and so that's going to be something nice to get home and have time to do a little something around the house and not have to worry about that mess. So anyway, I appreciate it if you comment on this stuff. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll get something to talk about if you want to just tell stories about guns or hunting, or if you have any questions of anything that I might know about, or if you can tell me something I don't know, that's fine. I didn't show you the other gun stuff over there, but I can get carried away on guns. Something I really like to play with. So anyway, y'all stay safe, and Scott, good work on all your exercising and losing weight. You're kind of inspiring me. I need to lose weight. I probably need to lose 30 or 40 pounds myself. So I think I can do it. If you can do it. And good luck on that and your health, and your look like you're feeling a little bit better. So y'all be good, and we'll see you next time.